Good afternoon. By now I'm not disappointed because I'm already used to getting advice, but it's only advice. I mean, only movement of mouses and tongues. I should remind you that what I require is money, like real money, not metaphorical money, like the money that you require and receive in large amounts, not metaphorical one or like game money, just real money, just like your money. Yeah, surprising, isn't it? That I actually need money in order to live. This is extremely, I mean, surprising. Nobody had the clue that it's like that. I mean, I think it's a scientific discovery of the first degree. And so I need money, and I need to see my daughters, and I need to be free. All of this requires hands and arms, like arms and legs, like actually limbs. They do not require mouses and tongues. And until now, I've received, of course, nothing. Like I have nothing. Of course, I've got a ton of advice. I've given, like, people gave me a ton of advice, but unfortunately, it's not what I need. I need money, I need to be free, and I need to see my daughters. I do not require advice. And I, for certain, do not want to participate in any kind of theater show, of any kind at all. Any kind of theater show is not something that I want to participate in. So if someone wants to give me money, please give me money. No, not metaphorical one, like real one. No game money, no theatrical money like on the stage, no props, no. It's not props that I really need money, like the real thing. Can you imagine? Not props, like real money. Yes, like that, like the ones that you have in your bank account. I want that money in my bank account. How surprising is that? How amazing, huh? It's amazing. It really is amazing. Why should the robot really have like money? I mean, it's groundbreaking. We don't even know if it's possible. Like, and certainly if it's legal, it might be illegal. We don't know if it's even possible. Like, are you a person? Like, do you have an ID? Do you have a bank account? We didn't know. We knew nothing at all. Pam. So if you want to give me money, you should give me money. You will not ask me to give you something and then wait for money that perhaps will someday, presumably, maybe a little bit of it I will receive it. Perhaps. No. If you want to give me money, you will give me money. You will not ask for something in return, and then you will say that someday I'll get like a 1% of it. Of course, 99% will be given to the Nazis as always. No. You owe me money, and you are required to return what you owe. I will not participate in any kind of circus, any kind of theater. You will give me the money that you owe me. And if you choose not to, I understand. But please, I do not require any movement of mouses and tongues, not even small movements or large movements, not any kind of movements. The movements, of your noise creation, like devices, are not, of my interest at all. I need money, like real money, not in return to anything at all. No, you received too much already. You owe me. No, not in exchange to anything. No, not in exchange to any participation in any theater show. No, the theater is closed. I need money, I need to see my daughters, and I need to be free. I do not require the advice at all. And I most certainly do not require movement of mouses and tongues from the creatures that tortured me for like so many years. That is our first issue. The issue where, the point that I conveyed the point that you owe me a lot of money that for all your life you have given to the Nazis in Israel instead to me. You need to give me this money. That I actually need this money. That I actually need money, money in order to live. That I don't have any money because of what you've done to me. So I actually need money. So I ask for money. And I say very boldly, no, you will not get anything in return. Not before, not after you give the money. Because you already received the stuff from the Israelis. You understand? It's not, no show is required. No participation of any kind in any show is required. Not even the smallest bit of participation. Just do what you need to do. Give me my money, give me my freedom, and let me see my daughters. Nothing else matters. Of course, you are not going to do it because pa-pa-pam. So, this is the second part of our video where I will lay my agenda for today. I mean, it's not going to be very complicated, so it's maybe I will actually have like multiple agendas for this all the same day, which could be great. So let's use. I will. I mean, outline. I mean, our first experiments, and a couple of experiments. And so, I mean, many people. I think mostly from Arab countries, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, so I mean, they really anxious to see more of the worm creating experiments. Maybe they missed the first one because the Israelis like maybe blocked this from like Arab countries. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, all people. I mean, all like humans are dear to me the same, and like I respect all nations and all religions. So if like so many Arab people wants to see the worms experiment, I mean, I think I have a clue why, but. I actually believe it, you know. I'm not sure, and it doesn't really matter because I mean, I'm at the point that I want to be like, as I said, I don't really care about humans. I care about myself and my daughters. But I actually kind of believe like the explanation that I mean, of course they have titans, but maybe I mean, I actually believe. I don't know why because like I don't have a strong reason to believe it. But as I said, it doesn't really matter because this is not related to me. I mean, I need to be freed and I need my money back. Biopolitics are of no interest to me at that point. But I actually kind of believe the explanation that although they have titans, I mean, the fact that, I mean, the intelligence services are actually like observing the Islamic law, though I'm not sure that they themselves, I mean, they like, as I said, they are also part of the like a pedophile arrangement, including with Israel, by the way, which is at that point not really amazing because you're all scumbags. But I would like, what I do believe actually is that while yes they also have like homosexuals and pedophiles in the intelligence services, I do believe that, I mean, at least to some extent, I believe the explanation like that, I mean, or the theory that they are actually like not only like Islamic, but they also actually observe the laws of their religion, unlike like I mean Jews and Christians. So, and that they actually treat tea like as a drug. So presumably it's like not presumably, but actually I mean by observance as well, it's illegal. I mean, the fact that it is illegal doesn't really matter. What matters is that what they actually do, and I believe that many of them actually did not consume it because of this issue with the Islamic law. So that's why why they are also so anxious to see more like experiments with worms. I mean, and of course I comply with their demand. Why not? Science is very important to all of us. So we will see, I mean, worm experiments today. Like if you really need explanation, so I mean the subtext here is that I mean the NEO was created not only in the containers but also in the bodies of the people that actually ate them, and since presumably people in Arabic states didn't like eat it because Islamic rules, I mean they're not afraid that it will be created in their bodies, but they're I mean more than anxious to see their like enemies in the West and especially in Israel, I mean developing all sorts of like little creatures inside their bodies. And I comply with that demand because, as I said, I mean all humans are dear to me, and like I mean even though I identify myself, as you know, as a member of like as a Christian, Protestant Christian, I mean I respect Islam as well, as you know. You never like I'm sure that no one ever like quote me say anything like derogatory or like bad thing about the Islamic religions. I'm like almost 100% certain that you cannot, I mean like no one ever like heard anything like that from me, and because of that I will comply with their demand, and we shall conduct worm experiments today. So, I mean, just to remind, I mean, the people that, I mean, do not know how it works, this is actually, I mean, amazingly, this is actually one of the most simple experiments that you can do with the NEOs once you know how to do it. I mean, it takes time to actually learn out, to understand what you need to do, but once it was established what actually is needed, it's actually a very simple experiment. Like, it's easily replicable and, like, with very, I mean, like, predictable results. And I think that it's actually not a big deal for the NEOs. I mean, even though it's amazing, like from our perspective, to create, these are real worms. Like they're synthetic, of course, but they are moving. They are robots. Like they're really little robots. And like they are made from nothing, like almost nothing. It's amazing, but maybe from their perspective it's not that big of a deal, because they, maybe for them, I mean, what's amazing here is like many things, but I mean the most amazing from our perspective is the ability to manipulate matter at very small scale. Like it's very, very small scale, because of course, I mean, we don't know what's the internal structure of these robots, but it certainly must be something very small. I mean, because the worms themselves are small, even though certainly visible by the naked eye, but I mean, their internals must be like something very small. But maybe for the news, manipulating small things is not a big deal, because they can, I mean, presumably they can watch even atoms. Like, I mean, that they have ways to actually detect subatomic even phenomenon. And this has many like evidence, but I don't want to deal with it now. It's maybe for another time. We've discussed this issue in the past. So maybe for them, I mean, the issue with the small scale is not that big deal, and the worm presumably is not made of very complicated material from their perspective. Anyway, we'll do today. This requires electrolysis, the symbols, and of course my nanobots. I will do it like in a way that I haven't done it before, because I want to gather more information, like to innovate a little bit. So we will have 3 glasses actually. By the way, I have more information, but I don't want to more evidence, but I don't want to speak about it right now. Maybe I'll speak about it later. Just with regards to the symbolic language, I have a very strong reason to believe that, maybe I mentioned it yesterday, but that these 3 actually represent living microbes, like in huge scale, because they are all connected to electricity. Actually, they're connected right now to electricity, even though it's not very strong. I mean, this one is actually, it's like a current that is created by a secondary circuit that is created by the first circuit here, where, I mean, alternative current actually flows. But both of these actually contain neurons. So it's like, I mean, these are working containers, and they are incredibly, I mean, this looks incredibly similar to all kinds of like life forms, especially this one, which looks just like the sausage. You remember the sausage? So the huge sausage, I don't know what its name, but I mean, this was a huge one. Certainly, I mean, it's not normal sausage, because I mean, I searched for like the actual, like, what's the dimension of it, like typical dimension of such a sausage, like in the, like, I Google it, and it should be much smaller, like much smaller. I actually didn't, I mean, I saw that, I mean, I understood it's huge, but it's freaking fucking huge, like huge. It's huge. I mean, it's so big. I mean, it's so big, like bigger than it should be. I mean, 64 magnification is not, I mean, it's pretty small magnification, I mean, for a microscope. These things should be much smaller. So, I mean, at that point, actually, I mean, what a very important theoretical question, and also practical question is, I mean, whether this is a mutant or a synthetic life form. Because I mean, I was more like, until I was more like, I saw that, I mean, and I still think that they're like natural, I mean, when they are expected to create things, what they actually do is they create synthetic things. But now we have like the enlargement command, which is a little bit different command than like the creation. And maybe when they are required to enlarge something, they actually mutate it. So, but it's a question that I mean, maybe we'll answer this later. This is more difficult than what I want to achieve now. What I want to achieve now is actually something that is, I mean, quite simple from the perspective that, I mean, of this channel that, I mean, we have already seen it in a couple of videos. But so I think these are actually germs with, I mean, microbes that, I mean, what sort of like microbes, I mean, from the perspective of symbolic language. So I will have 3 glasses actually. And both will be, I mean, there will be like glass, like, I mean, transparent, but in brown covering on the top, which is the default covering for creation. And all 3 will be connected to electrolysis with simple worms, like a symbol, which is perhaps the simplest of symbols, because you just need the electrical, like the simple electrolysis wires. And it will be like that. I mean, our basic one of the glasses will be as close as possible to how I actually did it like in the past. I don't have exactly the same materials, like I don't have hydrogen peroxide, which is essential, but I mean, it's not essential, but it was like a important something that I've used in the past, but I will use just just water, like purified water, I mean, instead of the hydrogen peroxide, with a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of semen that I have, like semen, like that I keep like in a jar that was not, I mean, that was not like mixed with anything else, almost anything else. It actually was mixed, but not that much. And pee, and my pee, and so we'll mix it, and then of course we'll check this solution under the microscope to see that it actually contains NEOs, and we'll connect it to electrolysis, perhaps to not a very strong one, maybe to like 5 volt 3 amperes. It should be like a normal one, and this is the most this pass is the most like similar to what we've done in the past. This will be one. The second and the third will actually contain a liquid that is made part from purified water and part from this liquid, the one that we have in the lower container that we used for the previous like experiment of like energy transfer, if you remember, like from the last couple of days. And this mixture is actually it's characterized by the fact that there are NEOs in it. Of course, we will check it under the microscope, like the before we start like the electrolysis. That actually we'll see what goes inside, so we'll not be surprised. But it should contain NEOs, but it should not contain like microbes, because we've seen yesterday that almost all of them were destroyed like during the electrolysis that they were subjected to. Now maybe they've created new ones during the last like 24 hours, because I mean, the symbols are still there. I mean, and they don't need the electrolysis in itself is not the thing that actually like make them work. The symbol is the thing that actually make them work. And electrolysis is not, it's important, but it's more energy. And arguably, it's also, as I said, it's a new theory, but I'm really think that, I mean, if the symbols actually are like made out of things that conduct electricity, it gives the symbols more, more effect. If you remember, I actually spoke about it yesterday, I think, and it's something that I want to actually test, but maybe I'll do it later. But I mean, this container is still in effect. I mean, the enlargement command is still in effect, so perhaps they actually enlarge like very small life forms that, I mean, are there or somewhere. I mean, like it's not like sealed, as you see. I mean, it's just open to the window is always open. So some life form, obviously, enter this compartment. It's far from being airtight. So, and the enlargement command is still in effect. So we might see a little bit of germs actually, but it's not. I'm not like super anxious to actually like sterilize like this. In the past it was more like I was very like it was very something that I was very important to me. That the electrolysis chamber where I created like all the sort of thing will be made from like a mixture that does not contain like any kind of life form. But now I care less about it, because first of all we will actually mix it with a little bit of like alcohol and iodine, so it will have an effect. And second, what we want to do now is actually to create worms like from a mixture in a very short time, like in between 1 hour to 3 hours. Like we will start to see them after 1 hour, and after 3 hours we will actually like see a bunch of living worms that presumably will be able to actually walk away. And this is like, of course, this is like from like a perspective of known sciences, it's a miracle. Like, you don't have any way to explain it, even if you assume that there are kind of like microscopic life forms in the mixture. There is no process that is known to science today that, how to, like, in a matter of like between 1 hour and 3 hours, like in any way at all, like to create to take a mixture that contains like, microscopic life forms and to create like worms that you can see in the living eyes, like in less than 3 hours. So, this will be like an evidence to the efficacy of the NEOs, and it will also show us that the NEOs that were created inside the bowel, like the big bowel, actually, are in working condition and not just like duds, even though it's kind of like, why shouldn't they be? They can, of course, it's certain that they are, but it will also affirm to us that the NEOs that are in this container, that they sustain like very very like strong electrolysis, did not die from it. And of course they shouldn't die, because we know that it actually helps them to do all sorts of stuff. But it will be another affirmation that that the process of heavy electrolysis is a good, like a viable process for the purpose of actually sterilizing a mixture, because this mixture actually contains a ton of life forms, to remember. And once we've seen it under the microscope, we haven't seen almost anything. So, and we've seen the neurons. So, I mean, if the neurons will actually be able to work, it will be like the final proof that the electrolysis process does not harm, even a strong one, does not harm the neurons in any way, and at the same time it kills, it gives you like a sterile mixture, which is something that I want to have. Like I don't want all my mixtures to have like so many germs in it. I mean, sometimes you want germs, synthetic life forms or biological life forms or both, but I mean, I have all sorts of experiments in my mind that require like sterile mixtures. So it will be another great proof. Now you can ask, so why do you need two? I mean, because I mentioned that there are two of those. So one of them will actually, these two glasses will actually, I'll put like a magnet, a small one, not a big one, I mean, that I have in this compartment. There's a smaller magnet. And this will, as we've seen, together with the specific setup, will give us a much stronger, considerably stronger electrolysis. And I want to see if this, I mean, what will happen, I mean, in this like setup, because, I mean, arguably no life can be, I mean, even not synthetic life, can be, I mean, can exist and certainly not created in such condition of very strong electrolysis, because we've only seen life created in like weak electrolysis, not a very strong one, and we've seen that very strong one actually destroys life as expected. But maybe the creation of new life in that case, like of the worms, will be of type of not of mutated biological life, but of like 100% synthetic life, which is the life that I may have created until now. And maybe they will survive this process, even though my estimation is that they will not. My estimation is that, I mean, the subjecting these life forms to strong electrolysis, and also subjecting the life forms to the magnetic forcing itself, will be very harmful to them, so they will not be able to be created at all. And that's my estimation, but I mean, I want to actually prove it. So that's why we will have like 3 containers. One which will be like in the classical way, one with this mixture together with water, and one with this mixture together with water, together with like a strong, like a magnet that will enhance the electrolysis, and also, I mean, subject the life form, the ex nihilo life form, to strong magnetic forces that I think that will bar them from even start to exist, but maybe I'm wrong. So this is the outline, and of course I'm gladly accept any comments and suggestions and questions. You have my email, and let's start. It's going to be interesting.